On personal level, it feels great because this is one of the highest awards I have received. And also, it feels great on personal level because I'm originally from Georgia. I was born in Georgia. I studied in Georgia and moved permanently in London 27 years ago. So it was lovely surprise for me to receive this very prestigious award in my home country. And it was excellent to meet President and to find out that she knew about my work. And I was very, very impressed and touched on personal level how much she knew about my work. Regarding professionally, we are scientists, we are doing the best we can, but recognition of this scale always is stimulating. You feel appreciated, more embedded in the culture. And of course, this speaks about dissemination and broad dissemination of the work I have been doing here in Britain and back in Georgia 27 years ago. So it is fantastic. And I'm absolutely delighted and honored to be first psychologist receiving Georgian highest award from the president of Georgia, Salome Zurabishvili. With great pleasure, because this is the area I feel passionate about. This was a long journey of discoveries, and it was a very rewarding journey for several reasons. And one of them is that as scientists, we work incredibly hard. And in clinical psychology, where I work, it takes almost 10 years to translate our experimental findings or observations into clinical practice and make difference for people. So, pathway which I have led, it is called Peace Pathway. It has a clear website. If our readership will be interested, they can look at this free website and resources. I have also published a book summarizing all this journey from experimental research to clinical practice and how myself and my wonderful team managed to translate our research findings into clinical practice. We know that today it is hugely important to base our clinical practice on the evidence. And most of the things I do with my wonderful research and clinical team is based on the research or clinical evidence. So, autism and eating disorders are both very well known to my colleagues, but coexistence of these two conditions was relatively unknown, as it were, because autism is male-dominated condition. I intentionally don't call it disorder. Autism spectrum disorder is not appreciated by autistic community because I agree that autism is a neurodevelopmental condition and it does not necessarily mean pathology, or it does not mean that autistic people have disorder. Autism and neurotypical development are parallel universes, as it were. Regarding eating disorders, it is an illness, it is a disorder which should be treated. So, whole point of large amount of work I have done with colleagues is that we respect strengths autistic community has. They have lots of intellectual and personal strengths. However, we have to treat eating disorders, but treat it elegantly to achieve and maximize treatment benefits. We need to adapt and adjust treatments which have been developed for neurotypical developing individuals. So, to sum up a long journey of the research, first of all, I have done lots of experimental work studying neurocognitive signature in eating disorders, emotional processing, developing innovative therapeutic techniques. But then I came to realization reading research in the autism field and eating disorder field that some patients we treat might have neurodevelopmental conditions and they might not get the treatment they deserve. And we need quite a lot of flexibility. We need a lot more research and work to adjust and adapt personalized treatments, eating disorder treatments for autistic community. So basically, that's what we are doing. And this, I hope, sums up the work I'm doing at King's College London and Maudsley Hospital. Thank you. That's a great question. Peace Pathway was developed in collaboration with our patients who have lived experience of autism and eating disorders. We engaged families and main stakeholders, clinicians, family members, and people with experience developed this Peace Pathway. And by the way, Peace is acronym which our community have chosen. Patients choose this name, and we had several options to call our clinical pathway acronym. So what we have done, it might sound very simple, but it was, as I mentioned already, long journey and long learning curve. What we have done, we tried to calibrate our communications with people who have autism and eating disorders. We tried to be more sensitive to sensory system, which is very complex in autism. And we also tried to make environmental adaptations, dietetic adjustments, and collaborate more with lived experience community, families, and autism experts. So that way, engaging multidisciplinary team and multi-expertise team helped us to start making very important steps in the long journey. I want to also stress that we are first eating disorder service in the country, in the UK, and I believe internationally, who is accredited for autism's friendly service for eating disorders. National Autism Society accredited us after rigorous assessments, how we practice and what we do in the clinic, and we were granted of this prestigious certification. Also, I want to say that we are trying to disseminate our findings. So we created free website, we published the book, and we really hope that lots of centers across the UK and internationally will follow our example, and we can serve the community which deserves recognition and tailored clinical service. I think eating disorder research needs much more funding to do proper research, translational research, experimental and basic research, as well as translational research and innovate treatments. Because, for example, we know that at the moment, what we see, autism and anorexia nervosa comorbidities relatively better studied than neurodiversity in the bulimia, binge eating disorders, and obesity. We also know that in terms of neurodevelopmental conditions, we need to learn more about ADHD, not only autism. And unless we have funding to do proper research on these conditions, on coexisting conditions, we will not be able to make any steps forward. On this note, I'm extremely grateful to Maudsley Charity, the Health Foundation, Medical Research Council, who supported my research. And without it, we would not have Peace Pathway or any understanding and tailored approach we are pursuing today. So more funding for research, better understanding of eating disorders and coexisting conditions. That's what field needs urgently. As a member of Academy of Europe, I'm very privileged to be part of this amazing organization. And to add to what I already said, funding is one thing, but close collaboration, exchange of ideas is hugely important for any scientific field. As someone who came from Eastern Europe, from Georgia, and practices in the UK, I feel that UK opened for me lots of opportunities, and I try to give back to my country of origin these opportunities by facilitating collaboration between King's College and universities in Georgia. But we will benefit from a lot more collaboration. Especially political situation is not very easy at the moment in Georgia. And I think European collaborations, being part of the European family in science, in art, and in all areas of life, will be very beneficial for my country of origin, as well as European countries.